Hey guys, Katie here, and today I want to talk to you about books that I did not finish. So I officially started BookTube at the end of February, and I think I've read something like 28 books so far. But there are some books that I just couldn't finish or that I put down for whatever reason. I thought it'd be interesting to talk about the books and why I put them down. One of the first books that I tried and failed to read this year was The Golem and the Jinni. I initially read this on my own, or I tried to, and I got a couple chapters in and I just wasn't feeling it. If you haven't heard of it, The Golem and the Jinni is a book by Helen Wecker. I just couldn't get into it. And then it became a buddy read or a group read for the BookTube Reading Buddies group. And I said, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna read this book, and I couldn't do it, it was terrible. So I just kind of put it down and that was it. It was a little bit sad because it sounded really cool and I was really like waiting for this book to come out so that I could try and read it. So fast forward a couple of months, and after I gotten into BookTube, I was trying really hard to do the buddy and group reads, and this book was probably one that I was the saddest to have to give up, and it is S by J.J. Abrams and Doug Dorse. If you remember, I think this book has been on BookTube quite a bit, but has a cool cover and it's got like annotations and stuff. It's like a story within a story, and there was a lot going on and it was really hard to get through, and I just couldn't do it. I didn't have the time, the focus, the energy. I think it's a cool idea. It's a book written by an elusive writer, and these two college students are trying to work out a mystery related to the author or something, and I got like 8 chapters in, but it didn't hook me, so I gave it up, hopefully to try again someday in the future, but in the meantime it's sitting on my shelf and being very pretty. Another buddy read that I completely failed at was The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri. I'm really disappointed about this, and I talked about it in my wrap-up the month that I was supposed to do it, which was I think June or something. But I love Interpreter of Maladies, Jhumpa Lahiri's collection of short stories, and I thought I would love this, but honestly I couldn't get past the first few pages, so that was really disappointing. This is one I am going to try to read again, just like S. I would really love to read this book. I think I would like it. A lot of the people who have said they like it are people whose judgment I trust or who have similar interests or tastes in books that I do, so definitely want to try this again. As much as the language and the subject matter was really interesting, I just couldn't do it. Another book that I definitely did not finish this year, and I don't have a copy of it anymore, I used to own it but I gave it away, is Divergent. I'm glad other people like it. I'm glad that it's getting people to read, that's fantastic, but it wasn't my thing, and within about a chapter I knew. The whole jumping off trains thing with Dauntless really bothered me. I just thought there are so many things you can do besides jump off things that is cool and daring and brave. These books are both fairly recent, so you'll probably remember them. The first book, which actually I haven't talked about yet because I think I scrapped this in July, I can't remember, The Secret Diary of Lizzie Bennet. I was a huge fan of this web series and I just loved Lizzie. I thought she was a great character. But this book made me hate Lizzie. She seemed ridiculous. She did dumb things. And it was kind of a thing where I felt like having more information was hurting the story more than harming it. You know, usually when it comes to books and movies, you think if I could just hear more about it, then that would be awesome. That's not the case with Lizzie Bennet for me. I really didn't like it. And I don't know if anybody else has read it. I know I've seen it around a bit, but did you like it? Because I just had a lot of problems with it. I made it about halfway through. I just couldn't handle it, but I did read Darcy's Letter, which was kind of amusing, and it was pretty good. I don't think I'll be finishing this ever. I just think it's not for me. Another book that I think I talked about in my July wrap-up, this is Dune by Frank Herbert. I liked it. I was really enjoying it, but I just couldn't get into it at the time, and I don't know if it's this edition, sometimes that's the thing, or if I was just in the mood for something else. This is why I've given up on buddy reads, but I pretty much said to myself at one point, I'm just pretending when I say that I'm going to keep reading this. I couldn't finish it, but this is another one that I do hope to pick up sometime soon. I think the idea was cool and the world was really interesting. I really appreciated those things about it, but it just wasn't happening. So I'm returning this next week to the library, and then, I don't know, maybe I'll try reading a paperback edition or something. I might buy it. The last unfinished book that I want to talk to you about is Deborah Harkness's final book in the Discovery of Witches series, which is actually called the All Souls trilogy. Whatever. It's called The Book of Life. A Discovery of Witches is a lot like Twilight, only the main character is an intelligent history professor and she falls in love with this vampire dude. There's actually more to do with it than just a love story, because a lot of it is about Diana and her hidden, kind of latent magical powers. She's a witch, but she doesn't use magic. And the story is that she kind of has to figure out what's going on with her. She doesn't want to use magic. There are times when she has to, and to protect herself from these other people who are after her for opening this ancient manuscript, she has to figure out her magic. So that's a big thing in the first book. The first time I read the book, I thought it was great. The first book. The second time I read it, I thought it was really sexist and it was just like Twilight. And that was really disappointing. I'm just glad I got to enjoy it once, because I think there are some fun things happening there. It's just a little bit too much for me, and the whole like vampire, you know, possessive of a woman type thing. In the case of Diana, she's this completely strong female character, and then this vampire comes along and he's like, I must protect you, and she's like, oh. That really bothered me, but I read the first and second books before I realized the things that I didn't like that were in there. And when the third book came out, I said, what the hell, I'm just gonna try the third book, and I thought it was kind of horrible. It was just more of the same, and that really bothered me. It's a good, interesting, very thorough world of, you know, witches, demons, and vampires, and it's awesome. It's just the story is just too much. It's too much of the vampire human thing. So I forgot to mention that Diana, like in the beginning, is this really self-sufficient woman who has no interest in getting married or having babies, and then she meets Matthew, this vampire, and she's like, we're gonna have to get married and have babies. Like, that's all I have to do. That's life. That was really weird and contradictory to her character. And I'm not going to say anything about character growth because I don't think that has anything to do with it. Alright, those are the books that I did not finish so far this year. I feel really good about putting a lot of these books down, except for the ones that I thought would be really amazing. And like I said, I do hope to get back to them. In the comments below, let me know if you've given up any books this year, how you feel about DNFing books on Goodreads. Do you regret giving up books? And other than that, I've been really sick lately and it's been really difficult to get videos up, so if you have been missing my videos, I'm sorry about that, and I miss making them. So hopefully soon I can get back in the habit and also not have so many stormy days where I can't film. So I guess I will just see you guys next week then. Bye!